For this flaky pie crust you will need only few ingredients. Here I have flour sifted with icing sugar. There is also some coarse sea salt in there. I've placed this flour with the bowl in the fridge for a few hours just to make sure that it's nice and cool. You will also need butter. I cut butter into small pieces, but not too small, because that will create nicely flakes in your crust. Probably 1 centimeter thick cubes are all right there. And you will also need ice cold water. So I placed the butter in the fridge as well. It has to be cold but not frozen, just very cold. And I also placed a paddle attachment. Actually I placed it in the freezer to make it nice and cold. Okay. So in the first step we'll add butter all at once into flour, and we'll mix it on low speed, 1 to 2 setting if you are using stand mixer, for about 60 seconds. Okay, so after 60 seconds of mixing, as you can see, our mixture looks like this. There are some chunky pieces of butter in there, and that's okay. That's the way our mixture should look. So now I'm going to add ice cold water all at once, and we'll mix for another 20 seconds. Okay, so 20 seconds after mixing, you can see that our dough looks like this. It's not combined, and it's good. That's the way it should look. There are pieces of butter in there, and it's nice and cold. Okay, so now we will bring the dough together on the work surface. Before you start bringing the dough together, just make sure that your work surface is cold as well. You can put few ice boxes on it to cool it down. You can work on marble or granite surface to keep it cold as well. It will just help to keep the butter cold throughout the process. Okay, so here I have a mixture of plain flour and rice flour. I just find that rice flour prevents the dough from sticking to the surface. Okay, so now we are going to bring the dough onto the surface. Try to keep it nice and brief, because the quicker and the more gentle you do it, the nicer the texture it's going to be. It's all about keeping that butter cold and intact throughout the process. Okay, so now with some round moves, as if you were holding a bowl and then twisting it around, we will bring the dough together. So we don't need it, we pat it a little bit at the top, and then just with a few round moves we are bringing it together. If the dough gets sticky underneath, just get a bit of a flour from the sides. And we are done here. After literally 20 seconds to 30 seconds, we are done here. I've flattened the dough a little bit. As you can see, you can still notice chunky bits of butter, and that's a good sign. And you're not bringing that dough together, so as you can see, there are some wrinkles there, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be uniform. So now we are going to wrap it in a cling film, and we are going to refrigerate it for 30 minutes. So as you can see, there are chunks of butter in this dough, and that's a good sign. Okay, so I chilled the work surface. It's nice and cold. I also chilled my rolling pin, just to keep that butter nice and cold. And now we will roll out the dough. I will dust the surface a little bit with a mixture of plain flour and rice flour, and we will roll it out. And you can use it, you can use the dough immediately, or you can do a set of laminations, and I find that the set of laminations will give you more flaky pastry, more crisp and buttery. So it's up to you. I usually do 4 sets of laminations every 30 minutes. I find that that's enough to create nice and buttery crust. Okay, let's get rolling. I actually placed that dough in the freezer for half an hour just to speed things up. It's nice and cold, but not frozen, just right. Okay, we'll roll it out now. You can dust your rolling pin, cold rolling pin. If you have marble, or actually marble rolling pin would be even better for this, but I have only wooden one, so it will work too. Anyway, so the thing is to be very gentle with this dough, rolling it out gently. We want to spread the butter, but we don't want to overwork it. And also we'll try to be quick at it. Just not to melt that butter, because those pieces of butter is what is going to give you a nice and flaky crust. Okay, and when you will be rolling, every so often just dust the work surface with a little bit more flour, because you don't want the dough to stick. Like here, I probably waited too long, and just roll it out. Nice, like this. You can dust it with a bit more flour. You don't want it to stick to the surface, because when it will stick to the surface, it's going to start melting the butter. Okay, so I don't want to roll it out too thinly. Probably, as you can see, 1 centimeter will be enough. Okay, and now we'll do lamination. So basically what you do is you're folding 1/3 of the dough, gently press in, and then you're folding the rest on top of it and trying to kind of seal it. And that's laminated now. We are going to roll it out again, and we'll do another set of lamination in the same go, and then we are going to place the dough into the fridge for half an hour, and we'll do anything from 2 to 4 sets of laminations every half an hour. And don't be afraid to dust that work surface with the flour, because it's more important for you not to melt the butter from underneath than to add too much flour. Just lightly dust it every so often. Okay, so we'll do another set of lamination. So we call it lamination, but really when you laminate the dough with something. So usually it would be butter, like for croissants. The proper lamination is with a lot of butter underneath, and this time we are just going to create layers by lamination, and those layers, because you have cold butter in the dough, are going to puff up during baking and create flaky pastry. So that's our one set of laminations done. So basically, to summarize, you're rolling it out, then folding it in the same way you would fold business leather. Then you're rolling it out again, another set of folding, and that's one lamination done. So we are going just to lock the sides, and you see that seam needs to be on top of the dough. So if you are right-handed, it would be on your right hand, because you're putting probably most of the pressure with your right hand. If you're left-handed, obviously it's going to be on the left hand and on the top, not at the bottom, because you're going to put most of the pressure here and you're sealing that crust. So we'll seal the end as well. Roll it out a little bit further, just gently with the rolling pin. As you can see, let it slide nicely, no pressure, because the pressure is going to heat up the butter. And I'm going to wrap it in the cling film, and I'm going to put it in the fridge for half an hour, and then we'll do another set of lamination.